Welcome to the John Muir National Historic Site. We were challenged to evaluate the issues the park faces in the coming century and make suggestions for the next 100 years.
The poppy-covered entrance greets visitors, and the friendly rangers at the visitor center invite guests to explore the premise, while all the while the sounds of traffic and the gas station across the street serve as reminders of how the landscape has changed over time. John Muir National Historic Site stands to show the changes to the community and tell the story of John Muir, arguably America's most famous and influential naturalist. Muir fought to protect our nation's public lands as both the founder of the Sierra Club and the father of the National Park Service.
The park tells the story of a lesser-known John Muir. The story of Muir as a wealthy fruit rancher, inspiring writer, and loving husband and father. The park is composed of several components: the Strentzel Muir House and representative fruit orchard, the trails and natural setting of Mount Wanda, and the Martinez Adobe with an interpretive bilingual display of the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail.
We were lucky to interview two lead rangers at the park, Jim McDonald and Tad Shea. Both rangers have spent time working for various other national parks and helped to manage 3 other Contra Costa County parks.
Tad Shea, I'm a National Park Ranger here at John Muir National Historic Site, also at Eugene O'Neill National Historic Site in Danville, and Port Chicago, Naval Magazine National Memorial in Concord. So I lead tours at all 3 of these sites.
The rangers spoke with us about the visitation at John Muir National Historic Site, youth groups, volunteers, community engagement, and some of the other problems they face in running this small but important national site.
The site receives varied visitors, from the people who wander in from the community to the John Muir fans that seek out Muir's home. However, the largest visitation comes in the form of daily school groups on educational field trips.
We have 3rd and 4th graders. A lot of 3rd and 4th graders come here. We have an educational program that we've started kind of at the end of last year, and so we've been doing that program, and it's kind of getting kids to act like history detectives, moving through the home, learning a little bit more about Mr. Muir, instead of like a basic house tour or something like that, house tour, John Muir tour. So they're finding.
The park has plenty of challenges. One major issue is maintaining the house itself, which requires a lot of work and attention to detail. This takes its toll on the budget.
So what are some of the challenges you face in this park, whether it be attendance or constant upkeep or budget? What's kind of the biggest challenge?
Budget.
Yeah.
And PS, budget. Anybody you talk to in the National Park Service would say that. Staff.
Another issue in the park is that of the noise and the traffic.
And, as you said, just the traffic around here. You're very limited in what you can do in a house that belonged to John Muir, in land that John Muir was on. People expect something.
Visitors expect a quiet and natural setting when they visit Muir's home, but there is very little the park can do to mitigate the sounds of the surrounding city. However, the traffic sounds are a perfect way for rangers to stress the importance of saving natural areas from development.
We talked to Tad about the importance of volunteers in the park, thinking we could find a suggestion for improvements.
We rely on volunteers quite a bit in the National Park Service, and certainly here, while we're leading the programs, we're doing a lot of training of interns to get them to try to lead these educational programs. But we rely on a lot of our volunteers also to lead tours and to answer visitor questions in the home and on special events like this.
The park seems to have a very loyal volunteer base. We learned from docents Jerry and Sarah about the house and their long-term involvement at the site. So another area we questioned was community involvement and repeat visitation.
We're trying to improve that by doing a lot of outreach and public programming. Like we do family days once a month, where we have kids activities out in the orchard area and stuff that kids can do. We do full moon walks in order to bring up Mount Wanda, which is off this way, which is a natural area part of the park. We do campfire programs all throughout the summer on the first Saturday of the month, and it's really amazing. We bring in over 100 people, 150 people and families in order to sit around a campfire and hear stories and sing songs and toast marshmallows. They crave it. They crave all that to go on. It's all free too. So that's the way to bring the people in, is through our free programming, having it really family.
And those community events create new kinds of access to the site.
Campfires. People like that because it's very accessible. So
Oh, it's very accessible. They can bring the kids here and bring them home at night,
Yeah.
And a lot of the kids who come here have never been to a campfire.
Wow.
They've never toasted a marshmallow. So it's just it's a whole brand new experience for them, which is great. We want to do that.
The community involvements were excellent, so we thought that diversity might be lacking. But when we questioned Tad about this, he told us about the Adobe and its bilingual displays and a special event called Los Pasados.
But in that building, we have a great exhibit on the Juan Bautista de Anza National Historic Trail, which runs from Mexico, essentially all the way up here to Mexico. Martinez, excuse me. And so we do have a connection with the Latin community coming in and helping out, putting on, making tortillas, working with kids. We're making cocoa, we're making things. It's something fun to do around the holiday time, because that's what it is about. It's Los Posadas. It's about Mary and Joseph wandering around and going from inn to inn and asking for somewhere to stay for the evening before they finally settle in.
But the most important concept both rangers stressed was getting kids excited about their parks and outside exploring the natural world.
I think some of the biggest challenges that we face here are just trying to get kids that are school groups, and they're a major part of our visitation here, trying to get children to enjoy nature and get out and explore nature like Mr. Muir did.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, trying to get kids away from the television or away from the computer. It can be challenging, but once they get exposed to nature, whether it's through us or whether it's through their parents or grandparents taking them to a national park, we figure we're hoping that things will change for them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What is that? Kids are the future of the parks. They will one day become the volunteers, rangers, and supporters of the National Park Service, and the current staff work hard to deliver this message.
That's right. And also I have an ulterior motive as a park ranger, and certainly it may be mine, but it is mine. And that is, out of all of the classes that I've led, and there have been many classes, I'm hoping that out of all those classes, at least one kid I could turn into a national park ranger, or at least get out there and start enjoying nature in their national parks, because a lot of kids don't know that those parks belong to them.
Right.
They don't belong to President Obama. Well, they do in a way, but they belong to them.
Right.
And they're surprised to hear that.
At John Muir National Historic Site, we expected to find issues based on our knowledge from San Francisco State University, but the major ideas we wanted to look at were already being addressed.
We looked at youth in the park, community outreach, volunteerism, technology, and access issues. In each case, we found that staff were taking steps in the right direction.
They have awesome youth outreach and educational opportunities from the school groups that visit daily.
There are multicultural events that reach out to the larger community and establish repeat visitation.
And there is a knowledgeable volunteer base and continuous access improvements that retain the historical significance of the site. With so many good things happening in the park, it was difficult to find areas for improvement. The one suggestion we would like to extend to John Muir National Historic Site is to encourage visitors to support their parks by showing them just what one individual can do. Muir was able to advance the park systems as one man. What can today's visitors do to continue to protect and enhance our parks for future generations? Encouraging park visitors to consider what Muir would think about the conditions today and what he might change could really inspire them to do more for their parks. We think this could be an excellent takeaway message for John Muir National Historic Site and make visitors feel fully engaged with their park system.
Visiting John Muir National Historic Site was a wonderful experience. The park has worked diligently for its visitors. The community members, visitors, and our friends and family all agree that this site is working hard to reach the public and continue to tell the story of the area and John Muir. Also, thank you to the staff at John Muir National Historic Site, especially the two rangers we interviewed, Tad Shea and Jim McDonald.
And thanks for watching our video.
Some very cool things here. Oh look! It's Nina Roberts.